This is Tom Rust for TRSB Sports Podcast today. Delighted to be joined by professional boxer Raven Chapman. How you doing?
Thank you. Hi, Tom. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Just saying before we jumped on, finally nailed you down, got you on the channel at last.
Yeah. It's been obviously in fight camp now. So last week I'd had a pretty brutal day on the day we were meant to do it, and I was just so tired. I don't think you'd have got any sentences out of me. So much better that we're doing it today.
Yeah, we haven't had anyone fall asleep on the podcast yet. As much as you
thought, could have been a first.
It probably do some views. I'm not going to lie, but we'd rather stay awake. How do you find the media stuff? I imagine, which we'll come on to, signing with Frank Warren. I imagine you've been inundated with people requesting interviews.
Yeah, well, it's been something obviously I've been aware of that I'll need to get used to. Even when I first sort of signed and went professional, obviously signing with Steffi and the kind of the team that Steffi has as well, it was kind of like I was inundated then. And it takes a lot of energy. And obviously my second pro fight, I was on the Matchroom show, and there's a lot of media stuff. So it's a lot more draining than you realise. So yeah, I think that's why I was like last week, I was thinking I'm already tired. This is going to be draining too, but I'm getting used to it, and I do enjoy it. It's always fun talking about boxing with people, and like seeing all the different questions people come up with and stuff like that. So,
and what about, we all know you're a boxer. We all know that you're tipped to go very far in the sport. What about talking about like yourself away from the ring? Do you like talking about like your personal life, or because it's funny because when you think of boxing, there's not many other sports where you get so much access to fighters?
Yeah, I guess, I know with boxers, you kind of, it's your life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like you tend to live in the gym, live and breathe it, because you have to for when you're fighting. I suppose that's what's different about the sport. And I think obviously people are always so interested in what you do as a boxer. They kind of, you get asked so many questions about the boxing, you kind of run out of time if they want to like get any personal questions out of you.
Yeah, it's nice to find out more about the fighters, away from the ring, as much as we know about them in the ring. So at the moment, I know you're training hard. What's a stereotypical day look like for you at the moment?
So I get up not super early, 7:30, have breakfast. I do a gym double session in the gym. So I have like a pad session with my coach. Like a depending on what day we're doing, we've got different themes. So we've got like motherfucker Mondays, like throw up Thursdays, Fridays. So depending on what day, I'm kind of aware of how much I need to fuel up for that day, whether I'm going to need like loads of like electrolytes, extra food, anything like that, extra snacks for between like the sessions and stuff. So but I still have sort of technical days as well, but typical day I do a double session in the morning and then like some sort of steady cardio in the evening, or I'll chill out in the spa and go to the sauna.
No, it sounds intense. How do you sort of manage like your food and everything else that goes with it? Because we speak to some fighters that are training for a fight, and equally they're looking forward to stepping in the ring, but they almost enjoy the process of getting there. What about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy the process. Like after my last fight, even I think because I made the weight so well, and admittedly I ended up fighting a weight category heavier than normal, but I still was really comfortable with that weight. And afterwards, normally if you've had to restrict yourself, you're not allowed whatever foods and stuff, you end up like craving everything. I wasn't craving anything really, had the odd little bit here and there, but I just loved my fight plan food really, and I sort of stuck with that. And I think it's good because now I'm in a good place going into this fight camp. I haven't got loads of weight to drop, so I don't need to worry too much on that side of things, and I can really focus on my training. So I think diet and everything like that is really important, but it's important to enjoy it as well. So you can stay at a good weight all year round, not necessarily at your fight weight all the time, because it's not necessarily healthy to do that for everyone, but staying at a good place just sets you in good stead when you are then back in your fight camp and stuff like that. You're not having to restrict too much.
So no raiding the fridge at like 9 o'clock at night, that I normally do most nights.
I mean, sometimes, you know, everyone's got their weaknesses. Like, I do find myself scrolling through, even though I know I've not got anything naughty, and then you just like keep opening it, hoping something magically appears.
Do you find it hard to be disciplined, or is it just the way it is now? You know, you've been doing it a little while, or is it like quite tough at times?
It is still tough at times. I think sometimes you get used to it. Like I say, your body goes through different things. Sometimes I would not be bothered, and I'll enjoy my fight plan food and I can get it down easy. And then there's some weeks where it's like, bloody hell, all I want is chocolate and cookies and ice cream. Like, it's all I can think about. So it's when you're in those sort of weeks where you've got to try and like stay on plan. But also, like I say, if you restrict yourself too much, that's when you can end up binging. So I try not to restrict myself too much. And if I really craving something, I've been craving it for a couple of days, I will allow myself a bit of chocolate, a bit of whatever it is that I'm fancying here and there, so I don't go like stir crazy. But I think that in turn then helps with my weight and keeps me there or thereabouts most of the time, especially now.
What do you enjoy after a fight when you've been so disciplined for so long?
I'm always pizza and like a chocolate milkshake, like a proper ice cream chocolate milkshake, like cream and cherry on top.
Yeah, I remember speaking to you last week. Actually, I think it was a beautiful day. You'd never guess it, given that we've had snow today. And I think I said something like, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice to go back and have a cider in the garden?" But obviously, not on your menu at the moment.
Yeah, not at the moment. Not at the moment. I have to wait till after I've fought, and then I can have a nice cider in the sun.
100%. Coming on to the Frank Warren signing, obviously it seems like at the moment it's been, you know, a significant period for you in your boxing career. How did that all come about? Because I've seen a lot of interviews with you. A lot of people speak very highly of you, tip you to go all the way. So I imagine there was a lot of people that wanted your signature. How did the Frank Warren move come about?
It was just through discussions with Steffi, and obviously one of his fighters, Jason Cunningham, had like signed with Frank as well, and he, you know, couldn't have spoke highly any higher of him, having like just fought on one of their shows, and also the fact, you know, they haven't quite got that stable of girls there yet either, and I wanted to kind of just go my own path really, and like make a name for myself and do my own thing, and like I said before, try and get that female side of boxing to BT and on Queensbury, and hopefully then as well I've got, you know, a bit more backing behind me and a clearer path. I'm not like it's me there, you know. So that was kind of a big reason behind it, and just trusting in Jason, and it's something that I spoke about when I first turned over as well. And then Steffi kind of just brought it into life and got them on side, and here we are.
Yeah, it seems like boxing is in a great place at the moment. You've got, you know, Eddie Hearn with DAZN, Frank Warren, Queensbury, Sky linking up with Boxer. What do you make of the landscape at the moment?
I think it's really good. I think it's, you know, something that boxing always needs, like competition and things like that, and you can build up some really like tasty fights with different rivalries on different platforms, and we'll just see what the future holds. I think it's all exciting, and there could be so much like progress made with it.
And talking about another fighter that Frank Warren represents, Tyson Fury, of course, huge fight next month, 23rd of April, against Dillian Whyte. Have you been, do you watch much of that? You know, obviously the press conference, you didn't turn up. It makes me laugh at the moment. Frank Warren keeps referring to Eddie Hearn's app with DAZN. What do you make of all of that at the moment?
I think it's a strange one, especially for Dillian. You know, this will be probably the biggest. Yeah, it's something he's always wanted, isn't it? He's wanted this world title shot, and he's finally got it. And it's almost like it's not on his terms and how he wanted it to be. So he well, obviously I don't know what he's thinking, but from how it looks, is like this is probably going to be his biggest payday of a fight, his biggest fight that he's going to get. He's not going to get a big one. You'd think you'd want to turn up and be able to talk about it and make a big thing of it. But then on the flip side, as a fighter, we all know how sort of Tyson Fury is. He likes to talk. And then there's Dillian Whyte. He might just want to be getting his head down, cracking on with training, which is what I think he's saying that he's doing, and just be ready for the fight. And maybe just doesn't want to have that side of things. I don't know, but it'll be an interesting one to see what happens if he does eventually turn up to one. So I know Frank and Queensbury aren't necessarily happy about it. And, you know, as part of the contract, he needs to like sell the event as well. And that's part of it. And that's something that Dillian isn't doing at the moment. So I wonder if it will be that his hands are tied and he has to actually turn up and do it. He could do a Wilder and just not speak.
Yeah, yeah, the headphones on.
just not say anything. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Having said that, if there is one man on the planet that can hold a press conference on his own, your stablemate Tyson Fury is probably the man that can do it.
Oh, definitely. You know, I don't think Fury will have much trouble selling the fight if it's just on him. But I think it would just make for a bit more of an interesting press conference if Dillian is there. Like I say, even when Wilder was there before and he wasn't saying anything, they still added something to it. So
I'll tell you what, I was listening to Talk Sport a few days ago, and there was Frank Warren was on there and Dillian Whyte's lawyer, and they were going, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. I was going to ask you, I know, as much as we love it, do you feel like it's maybe spoken about too openly, with like the financial side of boxing? Because in any other sport, I know we know what's going on, but you don't really hear about it as much.
Yeah, no, I get that. I suppose with this one, the reason it's so open is because they had to do the bids, I guess, which then ended up being quite open. So I guess now it's already out in public. You can't really hide it anyway. So that could be part of it. But it is definitely one of those things with boxing. People sort of obsess over the purse and things like that, whereas you don't really hear about that much in other sports.
If you was Dillian Whyte right now, how would you be feeling about the split?
It's a hard one because he's still earning his biggest payday.
Not bad,
and it will still be his biggest payday. So if he wasn't to fight this, he'd never get offered that amount of money again. And it's that kind of thing. If he was so desperate to have this shot, why does the money matter so much? I understand in the sense like it is a big cut, but if that's the normal cut when it's the champion against the challenger, can you dispute it? You know, he's the challenger, Fury's the one with the belt. So if you are that confident in yourself and, you know, wanting that shot so much, does the cut really matter as much as they're trying to like dispute it, I guess?
Yeah, I suppose you can look at it both ways. You know, Tyson Fury, undefeated, being with the most dangerous man on the planet. You know, Wilder, obviously, Whyte, you know, losing to Povetkin, maybe dropped his stock a little bit. Yeah. And I think as well, you know, you've only got to put on the news at the moment and what's going on in the world, and to be on the B side and earning millions of dollars, pounds, whatever it is, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. And like I say, if he wasn't to have signed it and wasn't to have taken that fight, he would never have had the opportunity to earn that in a fight again, I don't think.
And of course, gets the opportunity to become heavyweight champion of the world.
Exactly. So if you're confident in it, you just have to take the opportunity and take that as the underdog.
Coming on to your, I was going to say professional debut, but it's obviously not. It feels like that in a way because
the BT Frank Warren debut. Yeah.
Does it feel like, you know, obviously you're not starting again, but does it feel like just a new chapter in your career?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess because it's more sort of official now. There's contract signed, and it's my first fight within that contract for this new platform. So I guess in a way it does feel like that. But I'm just excited to get it going, and to see where it can lead to.
Do you feel a lot of pressure? I know you've been on big platforms before. BT, obviously a huge platform. Do you feel much pressure at the moment, or do you feel that nearer the time? Are you more nervous, or are you just excited to get in there and have a tear
I'm
up?
just excited. Yeah, I'm just excited to get in there and have a tear up, really. I've not been in the ring since November, so it's been a little while out, and I want to stay busy. I want to stay consistent. So I'm just excited to get it going. At the same time, closer to the fight, the nerves probably will kick in, as they generally do. But I just think it's a good thing when you're nervous. And it's just how you react to your nerves. But I don't feel the pressure so much because I know what I can do. And as long as I go and do what I can do and what I've been training for, there isn't any pressure on me. I just got to do what comes naturally to me as a fighter. And I know that it'll all be fine. Everything will be good. And hopefully I'll definitely be entertaining to watch.
I suppose it's a bit like that old cliche, the more that you prepare, the less you worry. I wanted to speak to you as well a little bit. Obviously, I suppose, you are flying the flag for female boxing, at Queensbury. I remember seeing interviews with Dillian White talking about Anthony Joshua, sort of a bit of banter with Eddie Hearn, saying that, Joshua was the golden boy. More recently, you've had Florian Marku leave to sign with Sky because we all know that Conor Benn is the main man, at Matchroom in that way. How do you feel like, being the only female fighter and not really having, not necessarily competition, but it's all going to be all eyes on you and you're going to be the main focus?
Yeah, well, it's what I want, really. Like I say, I want to get myself out there. I want to get the opportunities that I feel I deserve, and by being on a big platform like this, not overshadowed by other big names, like Marku leaving to Sky. It's the same kind of thing, really. And at the same time, I know as soon as I step out there and do what I do, my fighting will do the talking for me. So I'm not worried about it in that sense. And if anything, it's just bringing more attention to the platform for women to know that that is an option too. So, other up and coming fighters or other people that are wanting to get a contract, there's plenty of platforms for us to be on.
100%. And for people watching this, there'll be a lot of people watching this that know you, that may have seen you fight before. There'll be people coming across you for the first time. For those people, what should they expect, when you get in the ring?
When I'm in the ring, I'm all action. I'm very fit. I'm strong. I'm fast. So from round one to the last bell, I'll be constant pressure fighter. Calculated pressure, as we call it. And I just don't stop coming. And like I've said in some interviews before, the way I train and the way I fight, it's kind of like I just want to make every second, every minute my opponent is in the ring with me a horrible experience for them. I just want to make it horrible. And that's how I am as a fighter. I come to have a fight, but I can box as well. But, I think I've got a good boxing brain, and I just all action, really. Don't stop punching.
And are you going to be looking for the knockout, or is it almost if it comes, it comes, or are you going to go in there wanting to get the stoppage?
I think, obviously, as a fighter, you always kind of want that stoppage. But the more I've trained and the more I know, is the more you look for it, the less likely it will come. It will come when it comes. Obviously you work up to it, but if you go out there with that in mind, it's probably most likely not going to happen, which is a little bit like what happened in my last fight. I went out there with that in mind and was too eager, maybe smothered myself a little bit, which then prevented me from getting that stoppage, which I think I could have done if I had just taken my time with it a bit more. So again, from that, I've learned from that too, and I know now, just work all the stuff that I'm working in the gym, it's all there for a reason. Those the tactics that you use to open fighters up, to break them down, what you do through the rounds to eventually get the stoppage. So just learning that and not rushing my work and being patient.
And I've seen you speak a lot about your team on previous interviews, your management, your coach. So for yourself, taking the right fights at the right time, how far can you go in the sport?
I think I can go all the way, 100%. That's why you're in it. It's why, you know, most athletes do what they do and train as hard as they do, because they believe that they can get to the very top. And I definitely believe I can get to the very top, and that's where I'm aiming for. And every fight is just a stepping stone for me to get to where I want to be.
And we all know that, you know, women's boxing is in, you know, an amazing place at the moment. I think it's fair to say, obviously, it's still, you know, predominantly male dominated. I think, wasn't it Frank Warren? Was it Nicola Adams, 5 fights, world title? How quick are you looking to progress?
Yeah. Obviously, I'd like to fight for a title in my next couple of fights. But I'd just leave that in the hands of my manager, of now Frank, my promoter. And I've just got to trust them with who they want me to fight and where I'm going. But I'm pretty sure I'll definitely be fighting for a title in the next couple of fights.
And how happy are you with your team around you at the moment? Because, you know, again, looking at you in previous interviews, you seem incredibly content, and, you know, your trust is fully in their hands.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a really good team around me, and I think I'm quite lucky. All the people in my team are all very close to me anyway in life. You know, my head coach, my dad is my second, who helped train me through the amateurs as well. And then 2 of my best friends are going to be the corner as well and doing my cuts. So I've got everyone that's close to me that means something, that has been with me on the journey from the amateurs into the pros, in my corner. And I couldn't ask for a better team than that. And hopefully I'll be able to stick with that team, and we can go all the way to the top together.
It sounds like a proper family unit you've got there.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to be able to have that and have trust in everyone around you, and knowing, you know, everything that they're doing is to make me the best that I can be. And it's real special knowing how much they care about me and what I'm doing as well, and how much they want to put into me. And for me, it's just being able to give back to them and getting us to the top of the game.
And when you hear people talk about you, whether it's people in your team or, you know, people from far, and they talk about you going all the way, winning world titles, do you sort of read into that too much, or does that add any pressure?
I think with anyone, it could be a bit of pressure. I think sometimes, like, I find it a bit crazy to think that, you know, people think that of me, just little old me sort of thing. And it's like, even when people on my team like are saying it and telling me, I'm just like, oh yeah, like I believe it now, and I know what I'm capable of, and that's through like the belief that they all have in me, and it's given me that belief in myself that I'm not afraid to say that that's where I want to get to. I want to be a world champion. I believe that I can be a world champion. So, you know, and that's through the belief in everyone around me.
Yeah, something that I like listening to. I'm a big swimming fan. I used to follow Michael Phelps quite closely.
Right.
Obviously, most, you know, decorated Olympian ever. And he used to talk about visualization a lot. He would, you know, months before an event, he would, you know, think about it, and if things went wrong, if things went well. Do you do much of that?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not to the extent of Phelps did, but I think it's so important. Like, even just visualizing the outcomes, visualizing the winning, having like that positive visualization is key, because I think your mental side is so important, especially in sports, you know, and in life really. If you're having negative thoughts or doubting thoughts, that then plays into everything else that you're then doing. And I think trying to have like a positive mindset, not necessarily forcing it on yourself or telling yourself, oh, I've got to be happy, I've got to be good, I've got to be, but just having that positive mindset, visualizing good outcomes and things like that. Good outcomes are then more likely to happen, whether it's in sport or whether it's in day-to-day life.
I suppose the only difference with swimming, though, you might get a bit of you know, water leak in his goggles, but you're going in there and someone wants to take your head off.
That's a big difference. And that's why I think, like, with boxing, it's just, I wouldn't say like you'd visualize things that could go like wrong or whatever. You just for me, it's just always visualizing like your hand getting raised at the end, like the starting bell, like starting off really strong, really fit, and visualizing that you're the winner at the end of it.
And I've got to ask you as well, as much as women's boxing is absolutely flying, if there's any sort of young girls out there, or anyone in general, male or female, if they're a little bit on the fence, a little bit apprehensive about going to a boxing gym, because I think even for people sometimes going to a normal gym, it can be a little bit worrying, a bit daunting. What advice would you give? Because obviously you've been there, you've done it, and now you're at an amazing stage of your career. What advice would you give to people?
Just take the plunge and do it, because when you're inside the boxing gym, it's some of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. Like, there isn't massive egos in the gym, and I think as well, anyone that I've ever met, and I teach a class as well, and when some of the ladies come and it's the first time, they're like, I was nearly not going to come because and they're just always so glad that they did. And just that one step can then push you then to do something else, which will give you another step to then do something else. Just by taking that first step, you never know where you could end up.
Yeah, of course. I suppose people think boxers, brutal sport, but we've spoken to some of the nicest people on this channel that get in the ring and are ultimately going there to knock people unconscious.
And I think people always find it like strange. They think it's going to be really intimidating when you're in the gym, or if you can't do it and stuff, but everyone's always so helpful and understanding, and everyone's there for their own reasons, and no one's judging anyone there. And generally boxing gyms especially aren't a place for ego.
Leave the ego at the door. Also as well, I can't get you on here without asking you about another huge fight next month. I think it's the 30th. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. How do you see that fight going?
I think it's going to be a proper like firecracker. For me, I see Serrano winning, but I keep teetering, but I think Serrano has the edge, mainly because her last few fights she's looked quite strong and still on it, whereas Katie sort of dipped a little bit in her last few, and just because Serrano's that proper grounded professional fighter. That's who I've got, but it's a 50-50 fight really. If it goes to points, I think Katie will nick it. Serrano may need to get a stoppage for it to get the win, but we've never seen Katie hurt, so I don't know if that would be anything that would come. But it's just exciting. It's very exciting, and it'll be great for the sport, great for women's boxing, and I can't wait to watch it.
I think, my personal opinion, I think it's a massive 50-50. I think there's so much excitement around it. Someone you'd fight, someone you'd like to fight further down the line?
Well, for me, it was always Serrano, because she held like the WBO and the WBC belts at the weight I'm competing at. So that's another reason I'm quite intrigued in that fight, because whatever happens will sort of depend on who's then champion in my weight too. So no, that's something that I targeted from the very moment I turned pro. I just sort of looked who's at the top. Okay, that's the person I want. So anyone else is just a stepping stone to get to those.
It reminds me of listening to Tyson Fury when he used to watch Klitschko. It was like, one day I'm going to get in there and fight him, and we all know what happened with that one. Just a few more from me. You saw earlier I put out on the social media if anyone has some questions for you. So I've got a few questions. Some of them are not boxing related, but as much as we love getting you on here because you're a boxer, equally it's nice to find out a little bit about you, away from the ring. And you said as well you want some, these are not difficult questions, but just so someone's asked, would you like to see the rounds go up to 3 minutes?
I think it'll be good. I think for me personally, it'll suit my style of fighting as well. And I think for women's boxing, I think in that sense, you would see less sort of machine gun punching, and more stoppages.
Like picking your shots sort of thing.
Yeah, and like I said before, where you set up and you break the opponent down over the rounds, with 2 minutes you start setting up your traps, and then it's over so quickly, whereas with 3 minutes I think you'd be able to do that better.
Next, who was the first person you sent a message to today?
Yeah. It would have been my boyfriend this morning.
Okay, I suppose that's fair enough. Okay. Would you go on Love Island? Oh well, now you, if you're single,
probably not.
No. Okay. Someone's put what would be your perfect day?
My perfect day, going down the seafront with my big chocolate milkshake in hand, rollerblades or skateboard, getting some food, and then sitting and watching the sunset go down.
Sandy beach or stony beach?
Stony beach. I don't like sand in my toes.
I'm glad you said that. I can't stand it. My missus
It's
was like,
horrible.
yeah, exactly. You know, you might have to take a few towels and that, but all day long a stony beach.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, perfect day. A couple from me. If you weren't boxing, what else would you be doing?
See, I always find this a hard one. I definitely have to be doing something sporty or physical. If it wasn't sport, well, I say if it wasn't sport, probably like some sort of outdoors adventure type job, climbing or quadding, things like that, you know.
And what favorite takeaway?
Pizza.
Where from?
Pizza all day. Probably would just be Domino's if I want a crappy, like bad for you one, but there's a few nice sort of proper pizza oven places around where I am that I'd probably prefer.
Do you get the cookies as well?
Oh yeah, you've got to get the cookies.
What about going out to eat then? You mentioned restaurants and things. Would it be, you know, Italian pizza? Or is it like what state?
Yeah, so
to go for?
if I was to go, so I'm I say vegetarian, pescatarian, so I don't eat meat, I eat fish. I absolutely love Thai food, like Oriental food, so Thai food and Japanese, and sushi, things like that.
And what are you watching at the moment?
I'm watching Killing Eve at the minute.
Killing Eve. Anything else?
Yeah, and I'm trying to finish Boba Fett before the not Anakin, before the other fucking hell. What's the name? I can't say how much of a Star Wars nerd now, can I? So I forgot the other film that's coming out for it. But yeah, I'm watching Boba Fett anyway.
Well, we funny you say that. Actually, we had a Welsh lad on here recently, signed by MTK, and he was wearing a Star Wars t-shirt during the interview.
Oh yeah.
Showing me his Star Wars posters and things. And
oh yeah, I'm definitely not that.
With the interview nearly finished, and I told him I wasn't a Star Wars fan, but no, he was a really nice lad, and he's I think he's going to have a good career.
Yeah.
Also, what you're watching, I'll tell you one thing actually. Dope Sick is a really good series if you're ever struggling to find something.
What's that?
Dope Sick.
Dope Sick. Okay, yeah. I'll give that a go.
I'll send it to you. What holiday destination?
Thailand or Mexico. Probably Thailand.
I take it you've been there before then?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, do you know what? Mexico, I'd love to go there. I've seen so many videos of Mexico recently.
Yeah.
So absolutely love to go.
Yeah.
Just before we finish off, anything else you'd like to add? I know you're a busy lady, so I don't want to keep you on here all night. It's been great to get you on. Yeah, we're massively grateful for your time. Anything you'd like to finish up on?
Yeah, no, just thank you for having me on. It's been nice to chat to you. Good to actually get me locked down on the chat for once.
You're going to come looking for you.
Thanks everyone for the questions. And tune in to my fight on the 29th of April.
And I know it's, you know, quite easy these days to find people on social media, but where's the best place to find you if people want to get tickets or just contact you?
So on my Instagram, I'm Raven Chapman Boxing, and I think that's also my like Facebook page, Raven Chapman Boxing, and all the info for tickets is on there.
Lovely. Well, we wish you nothing but the best for your BT Queensbury debut. We look forward to. No, you're very welcome. We look forward to catching up with you after at some point. But yeah, honestly, it's been a pleasure to get you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Speak soon.
Anytime. Take care.
Bye.